Illustrated Life of Shinran Shonen, founder of the Shin Sect. At the foot of Mount Daigo, 6 miles southeast of the flowery capital of Kyoto, was a quiet manor house. The head of the house was Lord Arinori Hino and his wife Lady Kiko. Early in the summer of the second year of Shonen, A.D. 1172, Lady Kiko, purifying her mind and body by incense burning, was daily devoting herself to copying the scripture of Avalokiteshvara. One day, the Bodhisattva of Avalokiteshvara manifested himself to her when she fell in a trance, and revealed to her that an exalted Buddha would be born of her. Thus, 1 year later, on the 21st of May in the third year of Shonen, A.D. 1173, when the morning sun smiled triumphantly upon the purplish waves of wisteria blooms falling in luxuriant showers in the garden, Matsuwaka Maro, the light of the world, was born. Matsuwaka Maro, growing up in perfect health, for some reason or other never uttered a word. But at the age of 2 he recited for the first time the holy name, Namu, Amida Butsu, by clasping his hands together at a moonlit festival when he looked up at the full moon, which rose up behind the peak of Mount Daigo and shone upon the dark world beneath. Matsuwaka Maro was an unfortunate boy. In the spring, when he was 4 years old, his father died of a sudden illness, and his mother did not long remain behind, forsaking this world when her young son had reached his 8th year. Since his double loss, it was his earnest aspiration that he should soon be reborn in the pure land of Buddha, in order to meet once more his late mother and father. So he disclosed his desire to his uncle, Lord Noritsuna, and adjured him to permit the nephew to be enrolled as a disciple of the Buddha. In the spring of his 9th year, accompanied by his uncle, he went to the Shorin monastery at Awaguchi to undergo the ceremony of being received into the Buddhist priesthood. Seeing a promising boy of tender age before his eyes, the abbot told him that the ordination rite would be performed on the morrow. Upon this, the tender novice presented to the abbot a sheet of paper on which he had dashed off a poem. Hope not the transient blossom will until morrow last. Who knows that the midnight gale thy cherished hope may blast? The abbot was so much moved by the deep pathos of this incident that it induced him forthwith to perform the ceremony of ordination for Matsuwaka Maro that very night, against time-honored precedent. In the hushed and silent temple in which the ceremony was to be conducted, clouds of incense, latent of boundless pathos but of imperishable rapture, was rising up solemnly, and the lantern lights held by awed acolytes shook visibly in their hands. Pathetic yet pious was his figure, as his raven locks were shaved as a sign that he was a disciple of the Buddha. Yes, it was indeed on the 15th day of the 3rd month in the 1st year of Yawa, A.D. 1181. It was indeed a day and a night to be memorable forever. Outside the temple, cherry blossoms, bathed in the misty moonlight, were preparing themselves to pass away in dreamful wise. Now, Matsuwaka Maro was given the Buddhist name of Hanan that same night. Then he applied himself closely to learning and religious training on the sacred Mount Hai for 20 long years. Not all his years of hard study, not even the acquirement of a vast stock of Buddhist lore, nor his high ecclesiastical position brought peace to his soul. In the 1st year of Kennen, A.D. 1201, when he was 29 years old, he paid a visit to the venerable teacher Honen, at the suggestion of the Reverend Saikaku, whom he happened to meet on the Shinjo Bridge, on his way home to the mount on the very morning when the term of 100 nights of devotional retreat on the Rokaku Temple had expired. The Dharma inculcated by the venerable teacher then proved itself so holy and grateful that spiritual peace dawned on his suffering and loneliness. Awestruck, he could not lift his head up, but remained with hands tightly clasped together and tears filling his eyes. In the spring of the 3rd year of Kennen, Hanan had a vision of the Bodhisattva of Avalokiteshvara of the Rokaku Temple, who spoke to him. The mercy of the Tathagata Amida does not discriminate between man and woman, between priest and layman. The Tathagata cannot but vow to have all humanity reborn into the pure land of bliss. In order to fulfill this vow, the Tathagata is willing to incarnate himself into various forms of life and sacrifice himself on the altar of compassion. Now, go and let the people know of this gospel freely and with good grace. At this moment, Hanan was looking eastward, directly facing the Rokaku Temple, and found congregating there an immense number of people. And to these he passed on the message of the Tathagata. No sooner had he come to the end of what he had to say respecting the gospel announced by the Bodhisattva than he awakened from the dream.